Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from the Bhakti Center in New York City, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Makeover Monday. Today is the day. It's the beginning of the week. Whatever happened last week is over. It's a new day to start afresh, wherever you're at, spiritually, emotionally, with your health, your diet, your exercise plan, your mantra meditation. And we just got up. We're all hungover from a crazy, wild, out of control picnic.
It was crazy.
We were going crazy. Kaustubha was crazy. He brought the rocking chair. Was losing his mind.
I didn't have
It
a
was
rocking chair.
nice to see your wife. Marriage
Yeah.
showed up. She drove down. People were coming from all over. We got to meet Zoomers. You know, there's people on Zoom that show up every day. When they showed up at that picnic, like, let's say Nancy Rothman, for example.
Right.
Nancy Rothman shows up at that picnic, and I was like, have I ever met Nancy Rothman? Have I met her hundreds of times? Has I met her once? Did I see her yesterday? Does she live with me? Who is this woman?
You see them every day for a year and a half, but you don't know if you've ever actually met them before.
It's the weird Zoom phenomenon. And then you've got the Zoom goggles where you sort of know, wait a second, you're from Zoom, but you look a little different because of the Zoom goggles. That's what was interesting as well. It was
a great time. It was a great time. You know, first, it was great to meet so many people for the first time. Second, it was great to reconnect with people, you know, all the Wisdom of the Sages people. But, you know, then Raghu led kirtan, you know, that was off the charts, Raghu. Oh, and by the way.
Thank you. I'm not an off-the-chart kirtan guy, but...
Well, you know, you are in your own way, you know, like my wife.
I'm like a ragtag.
No. Because you see, you create these melodies and certain, you compose your own kirtans there that are really catchy, you know. And then you infuse them with a certain type of like
insanity.
Brajabhav. No, well, Brajabhav is insanity, and so, you know, you're one of my wife's favorites, and so for her to just be able to step out her front door, oh yeah, no, you are, and so for her to be able to just step out her front door and walk out into the park and sit down in such a scenic, beautiful place, right? Like we were under a big tree, like a big, huge tree, and
big, beautiful canopy of trees, yeah.
Canopies, and then you could just look across Sheep's Meadow, and it's just big and wide open. Watch the sun going down, and Raghunath's leading kirtan, and people, you know, one woman, she just came out of nowhere, started dancing around behind you, right?
I didn't see that, but you were pointing behind me. I was like, what's he doing? What's he want me to do?
I was saying, Raghu, your kirtan is spreading to the whole meadow, and like that. I was saying, this is just a start. One person's joining in, you know.
I thought you were saying, go. I'm out.
Get out of here. Get someone else. And
somebody else in there. Leave.
And then Jules Blondina jumped up and grabbed Aaron. Julie made it look like my wife leaned over and she said, this is like the age of Aquarius out here.
That's what I was going to say. It was like the age of Aquarius. Couldn't they do that Hare Krishna dance in Central Park and Sheep's Meadow?
Yeah,
is that what it's called? Sheep's Meadow? Sheep's Meadow.
Sheep's Meadow. I think it's typically, I think it's Sheep Meadow, but everybody says Sheep's Meadow. So.
Sheep's Meadow, because it seems only well, first of all, sheep only hang in gangs. They don't like to be alone. So it's a sheep meadow.
So it should be sheeps.
Sheeps.
Well, no, but sheep is plural for sheep. So
There.
yeah, but I think it's like it's possessive thing. It's like it's the sheep's.
It's the sheep's. Oh, I get it. Sheep's apostrophe. You know, it's another thing that I really appreciated about it. There was an old version of Krishna consciousness, which meant we are Krishna conscious and you are not. And we're going to sit here and we're going to sing to you to help you. It was like that was like an old paradigm that just doesn't work anymore. Like yesterday, it wasn't weird. Like you and me have been to kirtans where it was like it's almost like a freak show. Like we're the freaks. We're here to do a freaky thing for you.
You can't relate, but until you do, you're going to suffer.
Yes, and until you join our little freak party. It was almost like a corporate picnic. When I say that, it was like it looked like any other gathering. And there's lots of other gatherings in Sheep's Meadow. And then we're snacking, but we're eating all vegetarian or vegan, and we're the food's all being offered with love. And the consciousness and the talk was very high. But then we break into kirtan, and we're not performing. Sometimes the kirtan is like, we're performing for you, for your benefit, because you're listening to so much mundane sound. It was just people coming together and singing because they want to sing and be with these people for the enjoyment of singing together. And when you see someone like, Anthony M get up there and just like, lose his material mind, dance around. I was like, okay, he's in.
Yeah, we had. I think we had 45 people or so. It's a beautiful gathering, really nice. I met Lori Dinola. I met Danny Kazakowski. I met, really nice people for the first time. Anthony M. Met so many, right? And then so many others. Really
yeah.
You were on it, Rogo. I liked your kirtan.
Thank you.
I recorded it. I'm going to share that recording on Patreon this week.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to share that.
Well, that was a real, what do you call it? Kaustubha, I give Kaustubha the credit, and thank you, David Charles Wilson and Ariana, for organizing all that. And it was a Krishna miracle because it was going to rain all day, and there was like a torrential rain the night before, and it just worked out perfect.
The sun just came out. It was perfect. And the real Krishna miracle of the day was you're leading kirtan, and you're singing there, and you're going for, 45 minutes or so. And then you started chanting something. What was it that you're chanting? Gopal. You switched over to Gopal.
Oh yeah.
What was that?
I was chanting Radharamana Govinda Jaya Jaya.
And then you went to Gopal.
And Gopala, 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 Gopala.
Yeah. So as soon as you started going Gopala, Gopala, this little Gopala came out.
Little cowherd boy?
This little boy came out. Yeah. He was like, I don't know. He was like,
my name's Gopal.
Yeah, and he came wandering out, like fascinated by your kirtan.
The little calf.
I was like, there he is. It's Gopal.
That was a Krishna miracle.
Yeah, sweet.
Very magical.
We got to do it again. We should try to do it one more time this summer, Raghu.
Well, I fought it. I'm a tough guy to pin down for dates and times and being in New York City, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah, you see? So don't fight it anymore.
Okay.
All right. So we'll book another date then.
Yeah, let's book another date.
Okay.
Good luck.
Wow, that was easy. Let's see if we can actually do it. He says it now while he's still in the hangover, still in the afterglow of the whole thing.
All right. Well, we're back in the Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
And where we at? Canto 3, chapter 15.
Yeah.
Description of the kingdom of God. How do you know? Because we know.
Well, it's all described right there.
It's all described. All right.
I think we're on text 34. Does that sound right, Mary?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Mara was signing autographs yesterday.
Mary didn't have to do like the catering for this. She was just like,
it was great. She was free. She's like, I will eat other people's food. I didn't even know you knew how to eat. I thought you just knew how to serve.
Hey,
she was really like in her element. She's like, hello, everyone. People were dropping down. Amara.
Well, the other thing was Bhakti Justin. He is you were right. He can sing. That guy's great.
It's not like
is that from the whole drag queen thing? Like it was like part of his. He just kind of was singing.
It's not drag queen. It's transvestite. No, he jokes.
Okay.
He's like, it's not transvestite, it's drag queen. He's correcting me all the time.
He flips you each way just to
He
disturb
puts
you.
no. It's not the drag queen thing. Although the drag queen thing,
Did he sing as a drag queen?
a little
Was
bit.
that part of the whole thing?
It's but it was. He went to like what is that, School of Performing Arts, or for
Okay. Like
in
fame.
Cal Arts for acting. He was like a Broadway musical type of guy.
Right. Well, he's got it.
I know he does, and that voice of his, it's like
I know. And then you
up like an octave.
Well, no. Well, you see, that's the thing, Raghunath. You kept trying to send him up to higher and higher octaves.
Oh yeah. I kept on pointing up, like come up. I wanted him to stand up and dance because he's a good dancer too.
I also.
So I was so every time I was pointing up, he started going higher, like.
No, I thought you were like.
I was like higher.
Well, he came over to my place afterwards.
All of a sudden, my glasses shattered. I meant just stand up.
I said you were like in the Bugs Bunny cartoon where Bugs Bunny is like he's like the conductor,
the maestro,
and he's got like that opera singer, and he keeps making him go higher and higher and higher. I thought that's what you were doing to him. I'm like, what are you doing to this guy? He's already this is high enough.
To get up and dance.
Okay.
No one understood my
Nobody
cues.
understood that. You're like higher. But he's great. I said he's got a future, in the kirtan thing.
Yeah, I know. He was very encouraged. You encouraged him, and I was trying to get Mara to dance too. She was like, "Me?" Like, You're pointing at me. She's like, "I'm no dance chance. No, doing it." Okay. All right, Mara. Okay, what's the text, Mara? 35?
34, I think, right?
34. Narayanam namaskrityan naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudire. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati tamasloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmadatam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances at their lotus feet.
Speaking of lotus feet, Kumar is about to discover some lotus feet here, right? Lord Vishnu.
Yeah.
It's coming up. Maybe not today, but it's coming up. It's going to be a game changer.
All right. Put on my new glasses. Therefore, let us consider how to...
Hold on. So let's slow it down. Let's get a little context here. Therefore, you can't start the whole thing with therefore.
Therefore, okay.
What's happened here? What happened in the previous text? 33. If I could, this is what's happening, right? Is that the four Kumars have been stopped at the gate by Jai and Vijay, and the four Kumars, these little children sages, they were like, why are these people stopping us, as if we're like some kind of problem here, as if there's like good people and bad people, as if there's, it's like, what's all this duality? We're here in Vaikuntha, which is supposed to be the place where there's no anxiety, and these two guys, they're all uptight, and they're trying to block us. Is there something wrong with us? They were not, they were quite disappointed with this, with this behavior.
You're living in the spiritual world. You're acting like this. Come on.
Yeah, and they said, what did they say? Here's text 33. In the Vaikuntha world, right? That's the spiritual realm, where there is complete harmony between the residents and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's the key to it, right? That harmony. That's what it's really all about. Just as there's complete harmony within space between the big and small skies. We went into that last week. Why then is there a seed of fear in this field of harmony? These two persons are dressed like the inhabitants of Vaikuntha, but where from can their disharmony come into existence, right? It's all about the harmony. The whole key to our existence is right here, right? It's like in the spiritual realm, there's harmony. Everyone's just like through love, they're harmoniously interacting with God and with each other. And in this world it's the reflection, which looks the same but is upside down. And there's lack of harmony. There's always discord. There's always one person banging up against the next, crashing into each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now we get text 34. Therefore,
let us consider how these two contaminated persons should be punished. The punishment should be apt for their benefit and can be actually bestowed upon them. For thus benefit, the punishment should be apt for thus benefit can eventually be bestowed upon them.
So they're like, we need to punish these two people, but it's actually not like, it's not to hurt them. It's actually to help.
No, it's like a parent chastises.
Yeah.
Stand in the corner. Do parents even do that anymore? Stand in the corner. We should just stand and look in the corner, crying. The parents would do something, and hopefully the child learns a lesson.
Yeah, so that's where they're coming from.
That's where they're at.
It's loving, even though like they don't want it, right?
Yeah. Here's some love. Take birth as a demon. Imagine your mother said to that, okay, been naughty. Take birth as a demon. No.
No.
I won't do it again. Too late. 3 demons. 3 demons, 3 different births. Okay.
Since they find
the punishment should be since they find duality in existence, in the existence of Vaikuntha life, they are contaminated and should be removed from this place to the material realm, where the living entities have 3 kinds of enemies.
We're gonna have to look into the commentary for that.
Yeah. All right, look that up. I'm going to keep reading.
No, don't keep reading. We're going to discuss this.
We'll discuss this one. All right.
Yeah, it says here that the reason why pure souls come into the existential circumstances of the material world, why do we end up here?
Because we want to be.
He says, which is considered to be the criminal department of the Supreme Lord. Like we're a
bunch of criminals. Now I'm looking at all these Zoom people with a different light. Oh, I get it. You're a bunch of criminals.
And then Prabhupada says, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, verse 27. You know that one offhand, Raghu?
727.
727.
That Oh, I do know that. Give me a hint.
I'll give you a hint. It's like if, well, the first word is something like if you have to scratch.
Itch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Icha Dvesha.
There you go.
Icha Dvesha Samutena Dvanvan Muhena Bharata. Is that it?
Yeah. Sarva Bhutani Samoham.
Icha.
Sarge Yante Parantapa.
If you got a scratch.
It worked. You got
Icha
it.
Dvesha Samutena.
So the translation
I can't remember I can't remember the English.
Is, O Arjuna, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born. So this is Prabhupada saying why we enter the material realm, right? So here's the verse that he's quoting. All living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities, arisen from Icha and Dvesha.
Desire and hate.
Desire and hate. Or, like, in other words, attraction and aversion, right? There's things like, this is good, this is bad. This will make me happy, this won't.
Yeah, it's not a world of evenness. It's a world of
duality. Yeah, so literally the words here, Icha means desire. Dvesha is translated as like sometimes it's hate, like in other words, like aversion towards, right? And samutena means arisen from. But then it says dvandva, that means duality. Mohena, by illusion, right? So in other words, how are we deluded? We get deluded into being convinced that this is good, this is bad, right? This will make me happy, this won't make me. We become concerned with all like these externals, and we become completely absorbed in it, right? We make our days from the minute that we wake up in the morning to the minute that we go to sleep at night. We're convinced that, I need to get this and I need to avoid that if I'm going to be happy. And we just pursue that, not aware that happiness is really our internal situation. We just need to uncover it, right? and we can.
Happiness is an inside job, Mara.
Oh, there's one right there. Happiness is an inside job. So this is saying that's how we get boiled. And I use this example sometimes. Tell me if you like this analogy, Raghu. Okay. But this is the computer one, where like you can program a computer to respond to different stimulus, right? Like say you have a camera hooked up to a computer.
Yeah.
And you have a speaker hooked up to a computer. And in the analogy, like the mind, the computer is like the mind, and the senses are like the camera, like the eyes, and the speaker is like the voice. And so you could program the computer that when you flash a red light in front of the camera, that the computer responds through the speaker by saying, "I like red." And then you could program it that when you flash a blue light in front of the camera, that the computer responds by saying, "I don't like blue." You could do that, right?
Mm.
And that's an impulsive response. It's just going to do that because it's programmed to do that. Well, what the yogis are telling us is that we also get that same, the point is not that red is good and blue is bad. It's just that the computer's been programmed to respond that way. You could have flipped it, right? You could have made it like, it could say, "I don't like red, I do like blue." It's not that red or blue is good or bad, but the mind has been programmed to respond to them as if they're good or bad. And so what the yogis are saying is that we're all walking around with this mind. And there's one part of the mind, the broader mind, called the manas, right? Which is, it's the impulsive part of the mind. It's just responding according to how it's been programmed by our previous experience, right? You grow up in this world and your mind starts to get programmed by what's coming through the senses, telling it, this is going to make you happy. This isn't. This is nice. This isn't nice.
This is fearful. This is a scary thing.
This is attractive. This is what you.
Don't trust her. Don't trust them.
I'd like that.
Not to be trusted. Different theories running in the mind.
And even more just like basic, like in other words, this hourglass shaped figure is what you need to be happy, right? And if it's shaped different, you won't be happy. This, it's like that. So the mind gets programmed like with all of these ideas of what I need to be happy, what I need to avoid to be happy. And what the yogis are telling us, that's just programming the mind, just like red is good, blue is bad. It could have been vice versa. It really doesn't make any difference. But we're pursuing these. And then we have that icha and dvesha. We become bewildered by thinking, I want this, I don't want that. And we're just running around this world trying to get what we've been programmed to think will make me happy, trying to avoid what we've been programmed to think will make me unhappy. But there's really no truth to it all. It's just the programming in the mind. So that's the bewilderment, the vimoha, right? Here's saying, what's the word? Back in 727, dvanda mohena, bewildered by duality, right? That's how it works. So the four Kumars are like, what's going on? We're supposed to be in the realm where people aren't bewildered by duality, and suddenly we bump into these guys, and they're like, hey, you appear bad to us, and you can't walk, you can't go in. All right.
I had a deep little exercise I did yesterday because I was, it's like you never, I'm going. A lot of I'm going through a divorce right now, so you never get more furious at someone sometimes when you're the person that you've given everything to, that you're in love with. Yeah. And then when you get a divorce, sometimes the person's ex drives them more crazy than anyone in the world will ever drive them crazy. Mm-hmm. And because you love that person so much. So you're in the midst of these incredible dualities.
So you had an exercise?
I had a great exercise yesterday before. I could not. I played it off pretty good during the interview with Tukaram, but I was in a very, very tough place yesterday in my mind. And I was like, okay, mind, start applying all this stuff that we read every morning right now, or you're not doing nothing today. And you got a picnic to go to and slap a smile on your face with all these people. And it was very, very difficult. But, I started noticing this extreme duality, all the things I love in this person and all the things that I despise in this person. And so I started a list of the things I despised, things that really hurt me, really, I wrote them down, really broke my heart, really They really crushed me, really made me want like a revenge, or maybe really want to act in a spiteful way, historically in the relationship. And then I started to look at what in that quality did I need for my spiritual edification. Like I needed that for this. It had nothing to do with their behavior and, if that was good behavior or not. But why did Krishna use that person for my edification? Why was that behavior good for me?
In other words, okay. So in other words, generally, like this kind of stuff, which drives us crazy, we just categorize it as like
They've got
negative
problems. It's a negative. Yeah.
This negativity came into my life, and how do I avoid it now? But what you did was saying, look, it comes into my life. There's no avoiding it. But how am I meant to grow through it? What is it in me that's lacking that this is addressing, like that?
Yeah. And how did my reaction to it keep me closer on a spiritual path? That was a big one. How did my reaction to it keep me and some of my shortcomings sort of zipped up? And it was really good. I realized that it was Krishna the entire time sent my significant other, especially for me, like almost like a secret recipe that was designed exactly for me, and all their good qualities too. It was actually quite fascinating how Krishna is behind everything. And you just see it as, why are they doing this to me? Why would they do this to me? And it's not that at all. Krishna is a master chef. Move over, Mara. There's a new chef in town, and he's a blue cowherd child.
And he's changing your life.
And it's amazing how Krishna wants us to grow, and he gives us thousands of positive, what appears positive, negative circumstances, and positive and negative people, and positive, negative arrangements. And I'm thinking, I am lucky, I'm unlucky, I'm fortunate, I'm blessed. This is miserable. What a horrible turn of events. And it's not. It's not up and down. It's perfectly divine. And I'm wrestling with the things that I never understood. And when you write it out like that, especially from hindsight, it's like, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed. And you know what? Yeah. I'm exactly where I need right now. I know this sounds so cliche, like an Instagram. I'm exactly where I need to be right now. It's like I needed that to get to now.
This is just great stuff that you're sharing with us, right? I know it's very personal, and it's very, vulnerable.
I'm not getting into the nitty gritty of the what's, but what it was, but
but
the overall
with
thing
us, you're sharing with us the stuff that's really valuable, because you're sharing how you're engaged in that process of reflection on what you've been hearing. You've been hearing, you've been through Wisdom of the Sages, and before that, when we had it as Super Soul Sacred Sangha, just like it's years now, daily, every day, right now, Bhagavatam, every day going back to the Bhagavatam, every day thinking about this, reflecting on these things, and then you get to that place where life really gets rocky, and suddenly it's not just like random pain that's like entered into my realm, but it's like, okay, now let me apply all that I've been reading and hearing, and let me reflect on that in a deeper way, deeper than I would have otherwise. And Krishna calls that this jnana tapas, this fire of knowledge, where it starts to get really hot.
It's getting hot.
It's getting hot in here. But that hot is the purification. That's what pure. In other words, just like we're reading here, what did the four Kumars says, like, these guys need to be purified, right? What was it? Let us consider how they can be. Was it in this one or was it in the previous verse? But they're talking about like purifying. There, he says they're contaminated. I think it was in the previous verse that it said something about them being purified.
They are contaminated and should be removed from this place to the material world.
Yeah, but before that, was it in 33? Vaikuntha, big skies, or maybe it was in the commentary. But in any case, it's like you heat something up to purify it, Yeah.
The impurities come to the surface. And
yeah. And so it's like there's a heat in what you're going through in your life, but you're applying jnana to it. You're applying what you've heard. And when you reflect on that, when you're in that situation, then that potential for like becoming free from the duality, the dvanda mohina, the bewilderment of the dualities will fade. It's hard. Another great person I met yesterday was like Aditi's mother was there.
DT's mother, met her yesterday too. She
Yeah,
was great.
she was so nice, and Aditi's going through stuff too, and just like you're doing, her mother, who's she's a devotee of Krishna. She's a Bhagavatam reader and Bhagavad Gita reader, and her mother's just helping her through her hard times, just in the same way that you're saying, right? Like, what am I meant to gain through this? And I'm going to walk out of this. This is what she was saying. She was sharing with her. You're going to come through this knowing that you were given a great gift.
Yeah.
What is it that you were meant to how were you meant to grow through this? If you're not focused on that, if you're not ready, if you're not prepared, it's this daily hearing that prepares you for it, and then you step up, and your loved ones and the people that understand, they support you, and they share and remind you of that message, even though it's so hard to, it can be really hard to focus on that message, and it's easier to focus on the duality and the pain and the resentment and so on.
We're getting power washed.
Yeah.
It's like, if we're going to use a power washer, like they do it in New York City on those buildings. Like, it's like laser water coming at you.
When they got to get the gum off the sidewalks, you see.
Yeah, they power wash it, and just like you come out, you feel like you almost like you have a new body and a new mind and a new consciousness. I'm being power washed. Yeah, it's actually beautiful, and actually relieved my mind in a lot of ways too. And when in pain, what do? Take shelter of the Bhagavatam. I've been taking shelter of the Bhagavatam, taking shelter of the devotees, reaching out to devotees, and it's what we're supposed to do. There's a lot of ways to mask your pain, and the best way is we just embrace the Bhagavatam, embrace the devotees, and journal about it.
Journal. Well, that's what I was going to ask you right now. It's like, tell me again this exercise that you wrote down
everything I loved about the relationship and everything I despised about maybe her behavior.
And then and
I realized and that it was actually God. It had nothing to do with her. It had everything. So therefore,
she's just a person going through her struggles in life too.
Right? Yeah. Matter of fact, when people struggle in life, if they're doing something that you actually feel is wrong, they're in pain for that. Right. They don't need to be hated for that. Why would you hate someone for doing something wrong? If they're doing something really wrong, they're in pain. Wrong action gives people pain. Why hate them for that? But actually, they're sent to us because Krishna sees that I need something on the other side of that. And therefore, there's no reason to blame the person. All you should be is loving and compassionate to that person. And in fact, Krishna is just using people for our benefit to bring us higher.
I see you go. I see you getting lifted higher, Raghunath, and I see you getting those kind of realizations. And my sympathy goes to you. My sympathy goes to your wife. My sympathy goes to your family and everything like that. None of this is easy, and it's all hard. But at the same time, I'm also recognizing in you, like, you're coming to those realizations that the yogi is meant to come to, and they might be gained through painful experience. But even in this commentary, Srila Prabhupada, he writes this, right? He's writing about that delusion of duality, and he says such deluded persons symptomatically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc. Thinking, this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of this house, I am the husband of this wife. These are the dualities of delusion. Right? Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
what does it leave you with is, I just love this person. In the same way, imagine if someone on the show just writes in the message board, I'm really suffering right now. All you want to do is love them. Oh, I'm so sorry you're going for that.
right.
I'm so sorry you're, right? So
Yeah.
what does that leave me in a broken marriage? It leaves me, I should just love this person needs love now more than ever.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and then you in the here, what Prabhupada, my understanding of what Srila Prabhupada is sharing is, because we're, it's our dual thinking, right? Our bewilderment that makes a person think, I need to connect with this person for my enjoyment, right? And then the way the material world is, well, you know what? It doesn't work. The world doesn't revolve around you. So you're going to get enjoyment, but you're also going to get pain, you know? And the deeper that sense of identity in connection with the other, when God's not in the picture, when the root of existence is not in the picture, it's destined to bring that pain, you know?
Yeah. Then you
one,
all you got to
one
do,
way or
all you
another.
got to. I mean, because in normal life, we have people we like, people we don't like. Friend, this guy's a jerk. This guy's cool. But when the tables, when it gets when the fire gets turned up, then it gets really intense. Like when you're going through some extreme point, like when everything was going with COVID, with George Floyd, people were not peaceful. They were looking for somebody to hate, some group to hate, some people to hate. It was a very, very hateful time in America. It still continues, but we need someone to hate because we're all in pain right now. We're all suffering tremendously. And there's no reason. There's no good reason for it. It's not making anything better. And I'm experienced like that. And so this is pulling out the rug of the dualities of material life. And it'll do it to all of us because Krishna loves us. And you can't do this program. You can't take this Bhagavatam medicine and not have this happen to you because Krishna wants to bring you higher. And sometimes we don't get it unless we're asked to go stand in the corner. You know what I mean? Until we get a little type of like what appears like, think about this, Raghu.
Yeah. I like where you're going with it too. In other words, it has to do with hate, because that hate, it comes, in other words, once you accept that coin of material life, right, it comes with both sides, Icha and Dvesha. It comes with your attraction and your aversion, your love and your hate, material love and hate, let's say, right? In other words, the more that our back is turned from our source, the more that we've cut that source out of the picture, then the firmer that we grab onto what we love, the firmer that we're grabbing onto what we're going to hate, right? The deeper the pleasure we're deriving, the deeper the pain, And generally, it's attached to these kind of things. Like, as Prabhupada was saying, this is my wife, this is my house, I'm the master of this. I got control of it all. I've arranged the material things in such a way where where my happiness will be served, where I'll be glorified, I'll be respected, I'll get the pleasure that I need in life, and then the world just starts to move, right? Even if we have the good karma to arrange it in such a way where it seems like I got it all worked out now, then it shifts, because that's the nature of the material energy, and then the pain. And as much as one was attached to what they thought, is as strong as that Icha was, the desire for what I'm attracted to, in the same way, then it swings around and comes at Dvesha, what I don't want starts coming at me. And the wise person can reflect on it, and this is how we develop that detachment.
Anyway, sorry if this was
Thank you.
strangely inappropriate to share on the show, but
this was real. Thank you.
It's real.
Yeah. Okay. Text 35.
Text 35. Sorry.
When the doormen
of Vaikuntha Loka, who were certainly devotees of the Lord, found that they were going to be cursed by the Brahmanas, they at once became very much afraid and fell down at the feet of these Brahmins in great anxiety. For a Brahman's curse cannot be counteracted by any kinds of weapons.
Uh-oh.
Yep. After being cursed by the sages, the doormen said, "It is quite apt that you have punished us for neglecting to respect sages like yourself. But we pray that due to your compassion at our repentance, the illusion of forgetting the Supreme Personality of Godhead will not come upon us as we go progressively downward."
Mm-hmm. That's, there you go. These, the doormen, Jai and Vijay are their names.
They accepted full responsibility, huh?
They accepted responsibility. Two things. They accepted responsibility, which is, most of us don't do that, right?
Yeah, it's not fair. What did I do? Big deal. You're puffed up. You're proud.
Yeah, like whatever curse we get in our life, whatever difficult circumstance we find ourselves in, we're all getting cursed in different ways, right? They accepted their own responsibility for it. But then what they did was, like, usually we have a desire that it be counteracted in some way. We have a desire that, oh, I don't want to have to go through this. My desire is that somehow that circumstance gets... That wasn't their desire. Their desire wasn't like, will you stop the curse? But their desire was, okay, as we go through our curse, this is just the one thing that we want, is that we don't forget God. Right? No matter what's happening, even if I have to endure this curse, please allow me the blessing that as I go through it, I can remember God.
Now, another thing I'm realizing is the path of bhakti, compared to the path of mukti, like, we're not asking for peace.
Yeah.
We're actually stepping into the fire, and the fire is starting to burn the impurities out of us. Whereas peace seems like almost like a way out, an escapism.
Yep, we're not. I've noted that one down. We're not asking for peace. We're stepping into the fire.
Stepping into the fire. That's what that Maha Mantra does. It's
Yeah.
like, turn it up. Purify me, O Lord. Who wants peace? Mara, you don't want peace, do you?
Maybe a little.
A little peace. She's like, wait a second. What am I saying?
Yeah, but they understand that, like, how we got into this problem is one way or another we're forgetting God, right? So we may have to go through all kinds of, and this plays a really important part in the whole story, because as the story plays out, what we find out about, like, these demons, right? They become not only demons, they become these super powerful
demons.
Universally influential demons. But what it's said about them is that their minds, even though their demonic nature had them hating Lord Vishnu, but their minds were always focused on Lord Vishnu. They never forgot him at any stage, right? Yeah. Somehow, and as we start to read, what's going to happen now, and this is really great, as soon as they said that, as soon as the gatekeepers said, you know what, we accept the punishment, we deserve the punishment, right? Sure. This is, again, the whole that Tatenu Kampam, what we were quoting last week, when difficult things come to me, let me accept that I brought this upon myself, right? That's where they were at. So they said, okay, we accept the punishment, we deserve the punishment. The one thing that we're concerned about is that we don't forget Lord Vishnu as we're going through our difficult times. And as soon as they thought of Lord Vishnu like that, then here comes the next verse. Lord Vishnu appears. And, we get so many descriptions in Bhagavatam about the appearance of Lord Vishnu. And there are always these beautiful descriptions. But we're going to get another one right here in text 37.
All right. At that very moment, the Lord, who was called Padmanabha. Padmanabha means he...
Well, it says it right here, because of...
Oh. I was trying to put Mara on the hot seat. It says it in the next few words. Is called Padmanabha. Padmanabha. Because of the lotus.
And Nabha.
From the belly.
Yeah, the navel.
The lotus grown from his navel. Who is the delightful of the righteous. Learned about the righteous. Yeah. Delight of the righteous. Learned about the insult offered by his own servants to the saints. Accompanied by a spouse, the goddess of fortune, he went to the spot on those very feet sought for by recluses and great sages.
Okay, so they thought of Vishnu. Vishnu appears, right? He suddenly appears, and this is so beautiful on so many levels. What's happening here? Because, like, the Kumars were desiring to see Lord Vishnu. Now he's coming. Right? If they wouldn't have been like the what they went through. Hey, you can't go in here is actually serving their purpose right now because it's bringing Lord Vishnu right to them. As well as Jai and Vijay, because they're the servants of Lord Vishnu and they're about to be cursed. Lord Vishnu comes, he shows up for them.
Okay. The sages headed by Shaunaka Rishi saw that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who was formerly visible only within their hearts in ecstatic trance, had now actually become visible to their eyes. As he came forward. So this is a whole different thing here.
What do you mean?
The sages headed by Shaunaka Rishi saw that.
Not Shaunaka, that's Sanaka.
Oh, Shaunaka Rishi. Okay. 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 I was like,
thought
what?
all the sages from Naimisharanya.
I thought all the sages of Naimisharanya had seen Lord Vishnu. Okay. As he came forward, accompanied by his own associates.
Hold on, we're started over again because this is.
Let's try this again. The sages headed by Shaunaka Rishi saw that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who was formerly visible only within their hearts in ecstatic trance, had now actually become visible to their eyes.
So what was internal now became manifested externally.
It's going to happen one day. Krishna, baby Krishna is going to boop.
Well, that's what I thought happened in your kirtan yesterday when that little Gopal. So you started chanting Gopal, and then that little boy, I said he was chanting it internally. Now he's manifested externally.
Started manifesting these Baba symptoms, pointing, young cowherd.
Okay.
As he came forward, accompanied by his own associates bearing all paraphernalia, such as the umbrella, a chamara fan, the white bunches of hair moved very. The white bunches.
Chamara. The chamara is like this. It's like
it's like a fan. It's like a fan.
It's like a fan, but it's really, you know what the chamara is actually meant for? It's not exactly fanning.
Flies.
Yeah, it's meant
flies
to,
away.
Yeah, you whip that thing around and no insects come. But it's like a big bushy
tail.
The hair of what, like a yak?
The tail of a yak. Actually.
Yeah, that's like
you get them in Nepal.
Yeah, and so then that's like gracefully kind of like it comes on a handle. It's attached to a handle, and then that's kind of gracefully as part of the worship ceremony. That's gracefully waved around. And so it's saying here that there's servants of Lord Vishnu with their love, they're holding an umbrella above his head, right? Like you do that for to keep the sun off and all that. And then the chamara is flowing, and the white bunches of hair move very gently, like two swans. Right?
And due to the favorable breeze, the pearls garlanding the umbrella also moved, like drops of nectar falling from the white full moon or ice melting due to a gust of wind.
So this is like a meditation. This is the kind of thing that within the heart, the yogi can meditate on this view that when Lord Vishnu arrives, it's glorious. It's like, it's beauty. You just can't, you just don't see this type of beauty. And every aspect of what's going on has a deep beauty that's going in. These chamaras that are being waved, they're like it's graceful. And when you see it, I saw a bird recently. What kind of bird was it? I'm forgetting right now, but it was so white, like just so bright white. And these swans, when you see a beautiful swan, like the purity of its feathers and everything like that, it can be striking. So what to speak in the spiritual realm, like everything, the beauty of it is also striking. And so even these chamaras that are being waved, it's like, they're graceful and beautiful, like a swan. And the pearls, you can picture this umbrella, and around the edge of the umbrella, it's like adorned with pearls. And you can imagine those pearls. It says it's like drops of nectar falling. The shine and the glow in those pearls just must be so rich. That's all just captivating to the eyes.
It says that meditators who are very fortunate can see Vishnu, the Vishnu form of the Lord within their hearts by following the yogic process. So it's a very disciplined practice. We get benefit just, I'm going to sit and meditate for 2 minutes. Okay, I'm going to make it longer for 10 minutes. Yeah, I was sitting for 50 minutes. No, it's not just that. No, it's like they're talking about all day long for years. And what are you doing? Well, how do you make breakfast? You don't. You stop eating. Well, what about my wife? You don't. There's no intimacy. You're isolating yourself because it's beyond just chilling out or preparing for work by just breathing and sitting and counting your breaths. And this is like a really serious process for like next high level meditators, where actually they develop a vision, a genuine vision of Lord Vishnu within their heart. And it's so blissful and so powerful. They're lost in the outside world. They can't function. They're dysfunctional human beings in the material world. But he's saying, but it says, but to see him face to face, this is a different matter. This is only possible by pure devotees.
Why don't you read the whole commentary?
The whole thing? In this verse, we find the word akakshak vishayam. That was it. What's your Sanskrit?
No, you made it.
I think I made it. Yeah. The Supreme Lord cannot be seen by ordinary eyes, but he now becomes visible to the eyesight of the Kumaras. Another significant word is samadhi bhagyam. Meditators who are very fortunate can see Vishnu form of the Lord within their hearts by following the yogic process.
Bhagya means fortunate. So samadhi bhagyam, like they have the fortune of being able to be deeply absorbed in this meditation.
But to see him face to face, that is a different matter. This is only possible for the pure devotees. The Kumaras, therefore, upon seeing the Lord coming forward with his associates who are holding an umbrella and a chamara fan, chamara, how do you say it? Chamara fan. Chamara. Were struck with wonder that they were seeing the Lord face to face. It is said in the Brahma Samhita that devotees being elevated in love of God always see Shamasundar, the supreme personality of Godhead, within their hearts. But when they are mature, that same God is visible before them face to face. For ordinary persons, the Lord is not visible. However, when one can understand the significance of his holy place, or his holy name rather, one engages himself in bhakti, service of the Lord, beginning with the tongue, right? We chant by chanting and taking prasad. That's what we did yesterday.
That's what we did yesterday.
That's what we did. We ate food cooked with love, offered with love, and chanting. And then gradually the Lord reveals himself. Thus, a devotee constantly sees the Lord within the heart, and in a more mature stage, one can see the same Lord directly as we see everything else. That's the promise. It's not just like, and I say this sometimes, you don't believe in God? Look at the grains. Look at the lines in the wood. Look at the blade of grass. That's extraordinary. Look at the Japanese beetle. Look at a fly. These are not ordinary. They're magical. And it's true. You can see God in a fly. You can see God in an oak tree. You can see God in a rainbow. I saw a rainbow the other day. We were like, right, Justin, we saw a double rainbow. Me and Justin were like, there's a God. There is a God. And then you see a skunk. A skunk is fascinating. A skunk is godly, right? And you can see God like that. But no, we're not talking about seeing God in a skunk. You actually see God face to face, like I'm seeing you. That's what happens. We hear about that. Great saints talk about that. I don't get it. I can see God in a blade of grass. It's cool. It's beautiful. You know who came up to me the other day? Oh, right after class in Boston, one of the students came up with me because I was saying something like, there's God in a blade of grass. And they said, oh yeah? After class, oh yeah? Check this out. And she pulled up on her iPhone something like, she's I'm a scientist. No, she was agreeing with me. Yeah, okay. She's like, this is she had all these photos on her phone taken from electron microscope. Wow. And they were like beautiful. They're like, what you can't even see. It's like zeroing down this Fibonacci spiral of sorts. A Fibonacci spiral spiraling down into a subatomic particles. And it's like, world. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
What did you see? What was it?
I can't tell you, man.
Why not share this?
You don't have that divine vision yet. No, it's just like beautiful. No, it's almost like it could be, beautiful art of these subatomic particles. It was like a beautiful pattern and design, and and in the same way, if you zoom out and take those photos from outer space, it's almost like very beautiful, and it's everything is quite beautiful in this world. Anyway, that's what my swing. But I'm saying it's not just that. It's not just that the creation is magnificent and divine. It's that you actually see your Ishta, how you perceive divinity face to face. If it's Lord Vishnu, or if it's sweet baby Krishna, or it's Lord Shiva, you will see them right in front of your face. That's where we're going with all this.
That's a promise?
That's a promise, man. That's not my promise. That's the Vedas. That's the promise here in the Vedas.
Well, let's end on that promise then. Let's go with that. Mara, do we have any takeaways for today?
We do. Happiness is an inside job.
T-shirt. That's such a T-shirt. I might have even seen that on a T-shirt.
Krishna is the master chef with the secret recipes.
Oh
yeah. Krishna is the master chef. Secret herbs and spices.
There are no ups and downs. It's all divinely orchestrated for our benefit.
Nice.
Kind of long for a T-shirt, but pretty good.
Long for a T-shirt.
We aren't asking for peace. We're stepping into the fire.
Boom. That's like a song.
We're not asking for peace. Stepping into the fire.
That's not the song, but keep working on it. But it's a good start.
Jeff Winkowski liked it.
Were there any others, or that was it?
Yeah, punishment is always for our own benefit, and you can see God in a skunk.
You can see God in
a
skunk.
You can. Woo! That's that's the big takeaway. God's in a skunk.
Right.
We're not asking for peace. It's catchy. We're stepping into the fire. Come on, Justin, do what you do best. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on this Makeover Monday. Tomorrow is Arranged Marriage Tuesday. We're looking forward to it.
All right.
If you like what we're doing here, if you heard some wisdom of knowledge, maybe it is find God in a skunk. Maybe you should just write that on your iPhone, take a picture of it, and post it on your stories and tag us, Wisdom of the Sages. Sometimes people need to hear a little bit of nugget, a little nectar nugget, and a little piece of wisdom that you took away. It can help them. Spread this around. Tell people about Wisdom of the Sages. People need it now more than ever. They don't need me, per se. They need this information coming from divine sources, trickling down, landing on our desktop, practically speaking. How fortunate are we? We're not sailing boats and climbing mountains and entering a cave and learning new languages and asking Swamiji, please give us the truth. It's coming right to our computer at 5 a.m. every morning. Tell the world. This is incredible news.
Tell the world. By the way, we're going to try to get out Volume 2 of the Sage page today, our weekly newsletter. So if you wanted to get that, you'd sign up quick.
You got to go to wisdomofthesages.com. And tonight at 8:30, we're all taking shelter of that supreme, divine, transcendental baby known as Sweet Baby Krishna. 8:30 tonight. Patreon members, we'll see you tonight.
And there's 2 Bhakti recovery meetings today, right?
Yeah, there's at 1 o'clock. Yeah, at 1 o'clock and at 9:30 Eastern time.
You can go to both of them if you want, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Those are like both men and women, both of them. It's not. There's just 2 on Mondays now. There's like 10 a week now, right? Is that right, Nancy? 10 a week.
Gee, you guys impressed me so much.
It's growing.
Thanks for everybody joining us late. I'm just looking at Love Ash, Desiree Moore.
There goes Akiko. Akiko was there yesterday.
Akiko was there. She's famous. Everybody was famous yesterday. There's certain people we haven't met.
You know who was cool? I mean, coolest couple was that Caroline and Craig.
Caroline
Pitts, rock stars walking in there, the sweetest people.
Yeah.
Right?
We were like, they're both long and tall. They're tall and
beautiful.
Narrow and beautiful. And we're like, they're either brother and sister, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, identical twins. I couldn't figure it.
They were so sweet.
Kazakowski and Sari, they were very cool. Yeah. See, I only see the back of Danny Kazakowski's picture. So I never knew who she was. When she introduced herself, I was like, oh my God, you're famous.
It's a whole Long Island Bhakti thing going on.
There's a whole Long Island thing. What's up with Long Island?
Yeah.